Red Sox prospect Nick Yorke has a new home, and he's making the most out of this opportunity. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. For those of you who missed it last week, the Red Sox number 6 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, Nick Yorke, was promoted up to Triple-A Worcester. And lucky for us, we were able to catch up with Nick and talk to him about what it's been like getting promoted and what he's planning on taking away from his opportunity in Worcester, plus how his new plate approach adjustments are affecting his game. So what we are going to do in today's video is, 1, we're going to talk to Nick about all of that, and 2, we're going to break down how Nick Yorke's new plate approach could absolutely transform his game. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live tonight on this channel right around 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking all things Red Sox, as well as watching them take on the Philadelphia Phillies. This could either be a really impressive game for the Red Sox or an absolute bloodbath. We're going to find out together right here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's not waste a ton more time. Let's hop right into our interview with Nick Yorke, talking about his promotion to Worcester and his new approach at the plate. Just a heads up, this video was shot vertically and not horizontally. I know it's a little bit more aesthetic to have it horizontally. Blame that on the cameraman. He's brand new. He's still getting the hang of things. He'll figure it out. All right, we're here with Nick Yorke. Recently got called up again. We just talked, but congratulations one more time. I'm sure you've heard this 100 times, but what's it been like, just getting called up to the Woo Sox, and what's been, the first couple of days like?
Yeah, thank you, and it's been a little crazy. You get called up, you got to pack up your apartment and drive up here, and you're in the lineup the next day, so it's a little hectic, but all around, it's a lot of fun. You get to come in, meet new teammates, new staff, new ballpark, so it's just, new exciting experiences for sure. It's fun. Is
there any sense of, relief at all, or is it sort of like, all right, I got to get going now?
Oh, no, it's just the beginning. You got to turn it on. This is where you turn it on. You're one call away, and, you just got to play your butt off and do what you can to get to the next level.
For sure. And so this year, you've done a really great job of cutting down on strikeouts. It's down by 10%. You're shooting the ball a lot more to the opposite field as well. Was that something you went into the season working on? Is that a part of the approach adjustments you've been making, or is that just sort of, hey, I'm seeing the ball well?
A little bit of both, a little bit of everything. I felt like I was starting to get away a little bit from what made me really good in the first place.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a main focus going into the off season and coming into the year this year, as well as working with our staff on driving the ball to the pull side and stuff that they want to work on and everyone should be working on. So it's just kind of finding that common ground. I kind of got a little pull hobby last year, the year before that. Whereas the year before that, I was all oppo, so it's kind of just finding that happy medium.
Yeah, so you come from Double-A, which is, kind of stacked with prospects, right? You come up here. What's sort of been the main difference in terms of experience so far between Sea Dogs and Worcester?
Obviously the strike zone's a little different, playing with ABS and the robot umps. But, you get a lot more veteran guys in here. They've been around the game a long time. For example, Eddie Alvarez, I'm just trying to pick his brain. He's been in the game forever, so I just want to, pick his brain, try to learn as much as I can from all of them up here, and, just try to make the most of the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I like to end every interview with just a quick rapid-fire round. We compare your answers to Red Sox Nation, too.
Okay, sounds good.
So the first question is Ted Williams or David Ortiz?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not. They're not easy.
I'm gonna go David Ortiz because I've seen him play.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. Can't exactly have seen the splendid sprint there. And then second one is, would you rather hit a cycle in a big league game or have a 3 home run game in the big leagues?
I'm gonna go 3 home run game.
Yeah. Rarer.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
And then the last one is, would you rather have the best contact ability in all of baseball or the best power in all of baseball?
Okay, question. Do I get to keep my power or keep my contact skills if I pick the other?
Yeah, it's like MLB The Show. You
ramp up. I'm going to go power then.
Power,
for sure. Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an easy one. All right, man. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Before we get into our full breakdown of this interview here, if you're still watching, do me a favor, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day, and if you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit that like button as well. It's the best way to let me know that you enjoy these types of videos. Thank you all very much for doing so. Let's get into our breakdown. Okay, first things first, an absolutely massive thank you to Nick Yorke himself for taking the time and sitting down with us here at Red Seat Radio. He was absolutely fantastic dude to talk to both on and off camera, a really easy guy to root for, but there are a couple things that I want to pull out of this conversation, really break down. The first one I want to talk about is one of the last things he mentioned, and that was the biggest difference between AA and AAA for him was that there were guys here that have major league experience. I think that's sort of an underrated part of a prospect being in AAA when it comes to their player development is that they finally have the opportunity to talk to guys who've already done that before. Now, he's had small parts of opportunities in AA over the last couple of years with guys rehabbing, but he's never really had the opportunity to really sit down with someone on a more of a full-time basis who's been to the show and back, right? There are a couple guys on the Worcester Red Sox roster right now that have done that. He mentioned one player, but there are a couple other guys as well. I think for me, it's really impressive that almost immediately Nick Yorke recognized that opportunity and said, hey, I'm going to take advantage of that while I can. That's not an easy thing to do, and I think whatever he can do to make that transition once he does get the call just that little bit easier is going to make all the difference in the world once he's actually in the show. So I did want to really point that out because I do think it's a really impressive mentality to have, especially being a more higher profile prospect and being a guy who just recently got promoted to AAA. He hasn't had a ton of experience yet, and already he's taken full advantage of that opportunity. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out, but obviously the bigger thing I wanted to point out is how his new plate approach is affecting his game. Now, we talked about this briefly when he did get promoted initially, but he's done a really great job this year in AA of really cutting down on strikeouts. In 45 games this season at the AA level, his strikeout rate was 18.3%, which is a bit less than 10%, like I said in the interview. Corbin, come on, man, you could figure it out. Closer to 6% less than the previous year. But still, that is a fantastic improvement, and it sounds kind of like a pretty simple adjustment to make. Just getting back to what made Nick Yorke a good hitter in the first place. Getting back to basics almost here, right? But that is easier said than done sometimes, and he's clearly put in the work, and while the results overall in AA this year may have been a tiny bit underwhelming, finishing with a 251 average, a 325 on base percentage, and a 366 slug for a 98 WRC plus, about 2% below league average production, so far they are working wonders for Yorke in his first week in AAA. 1 week is an incredibly small sample size. It's hard to pull any sort of trends or any sort of adjustments out of just a singular week, but it's been a really impressive week for him. So far, in 5 games, he has a 368 average, a 478 on base percentage, and a 737 slug, which is good for a 206 WRC plus, 106% above league average production. He already has 2 home runs at the AAA level, including a grand slam and a double in just his first 5 games. More importantly, though, he's maintained a similar approach early here like he was doing in AA, striking out at a rate of just 13% and walking at a rate of 17.4%. When he was promoted, we talked about the fact that his plate approach was really sound. He just wasn't really getting the results, right? In AA, he was making more contact than he had in any previous years. They just weren't landing. They were finding gloves. In AAA so far, the exact opposite happened, and this is what getting those results actually looks like. Is this level of success sustainable? Probably not. 106% better than the average hitter in AAA is a ton of production, but I do think what we are starting to see is a new and improved Nick Yorke, which could be really big for the Red Sox, especially as they get towards the end of the season. Over the past couple of years, Nick Yorke has bounced around a lot when it comes to prospect rankings. He's been on the top 100 prospect list. He's been off the top 100 prospect list. He's been all over the Red Sox individual ranking list, right? He's been all over the place. So I think sometimes people forget that Nick Yorke is still a first-round draft pick and still has a ton of a potential to be a legitimate impact back at the major league level. Now, I don't know if that's ever going to come to fruition. I don't know what the future holds for Nick Yorke, but I think what we are seeing right now, especially at the AAA level, are adjustments that he is making that have turned into longer-term success. Now, again, do I think 106% above league average production is going to be sustainable? No, but I do see him making a legitimate impact at the AAA level and eventually, hopefully, making an impact with the Boston Red Sox. Regardless of what it comes in his future, I think what he's doing at the plate right now has been absolutely impressive, and he sort of reinvented himself by getting back to who he is, sort of a reinvention reinvention by stripping everything down. But that's just my opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? What did you think of Nick Yorke's thoughts on Worcester and his plate approach? What did you think of my breakdown on what he could look like going forward? And what do you think about Nick Yorke, the prospect in general? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest Red Sox interview in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said, if you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just helps out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Plus, it's the best way to let me know that you're enjoying the content we're putting out. Don't forget, we are going to be live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.